Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome tonight to another episode of Provoked Thoughts. It is your boy, Mr. Provoked Thoughts, in the building. Hope everybody's having a real good evening. Everybody is getting ready to come in. I know it's late. You're not used to it, but please come check me out. Check me out. I'm having fun tonight. I'm on vacation, so you might see a lot from me that you might not see in the next coming weeks. Um, we had a lot going on, man. Of course, there is so much going on as far as our country. Of course, we got we are finding out things that we didn't quite know. I can't even lie. We knew the whole time that Mr. Joe Biden was infirmed and in trouble. I mean, in actual trouble. You know, a lot of the people that I talk to, are either unaware or surprised. Most people are not surprised. The problem that I have that people were actually willing to vote this man into office, knowing willingly that he was infirmed, or just living in denial, or you had so much going on. You had the propaganda media literally gaslighting half of America to believe that we had a man that was cognitively ready to go. I mean, whoever believed the edits, who believed anything that the legacy media has told you up until this point, I don't know what to tell you. You are absolutely lost. And you need to get your life together, because these people are sitting here now playing the hell out of crazy. Like, oh my God, why didn't anybody know this, or why wasn't anybody reporting on this? And it's kind of, in hindsight, I'm looking at this like, wow, everybody, even myself, after the debate, after all the walking off, the cut, promos prior to the debate to make it look like that he was actually holding a sentence, and come to find out they literally did that because of the fact that he could not, and we all saw it, and it was just common freaking sense. It was just like, use your common sense, use your common sense, man. And it put us in a situation as a country that we've never been in. We got a bunch of people who've been gaslit, that just want to believe what they want to believe, whether it's Trump's a racist, Trump is Hitler, because that's the only thing that they could run on, because they had no candidate. And then the person that they were propping up to be that candidate actually turned out to be one of the biggest shit shows you could ever put in front of people and say, hey, vote for this. You might as well put a turd out there and like, vote for this turd and then this other turd from Minnesota. That's pretty much what happened. So we're gonna get into some things. And before we do, of course, I gotta, without further ado, bring up my brother from another mother. We don't look shit alike, but we think alike in some parts. Except for I got a little bit of compassion for Joe, and he'll probably get right on here and say fuck Joe Biden. But let's go ahead and bring it on my boy Noobs. What's up, man?
What's going on? How's everybody doing?
I hope everybody's all right. I know I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that.
I'm getting there. I'm about halfway through, my cup of coffee here.
Oh my goodness! I mean, and I'm sure it's a real good cup of Joe, huh?
It's not bad.
It's the kind of cup of Joe that keeps you cognitively. This is evening Joe.
Yep.
You
So
know.
there's a lot going on today, man.
Yes, it is. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. It's we got so much. You got, first of all, this unraveling of the former president, the presidency that almost took our nation out the game.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. I'm not shocked. There's no shock. Even though my avatar looks shocked, we told you so.
Yeah. I mean, uh, So the meeting today at the White House.
Yes.
The meeting today at the White House. The parts that I have a hard time, wrapping my mind around are the the hair on fire effect from the left. It's like, oh, this was an ambush, and all that kind of jazz. When all we've heard to this point, I mean, are a bunch of people screaming about, how, oh, he makes these secret backdoor deals, and oh, he's not telling us what's really going on and everything else. And so it's another one of those cases where you are just damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
I mean, he can't possibly win,
Exactly.
with people.
Exactly.
Which, in the midst of him showing videos of the tragedy that's happening in South Africa, you have a dumbass NBC reporter that asks, so "What about the
What
plane?
about
Get
the plane?
plane, get
Yeah.
plane,"
Oh
and
my
got his
goodness.
life roasted out from up under him.
And I haven't seen a tattoo from Fantasy Island meme yet, but I know it's coming. It's just
Get
gonna.
plane, boss,
Yeah.
get plane. I'm like, oh my god, what an idiot!
Yeah.
What an idiot! Why would you do that? And he literally chastised this guy.
Oh my goodness. I
He
wonder. I doubt it
chastised him.
had any effect though. You know what I mean? Because
Uh,
they're just null and void NPCs.
I'm like, you can take that and that new asshole I just tore.
Yeah.
it,
Oh my goodness. Oh
it
my
was
goodness.
well deserved. If it's your first time in here, anybody, make sure that you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Tap that notification bell so that you know when Provoked Thoughts goes live, it is going to be a stone gas tonight. We're going to, when it comes to Joe, bro, we
Yeah.
told you so, man. I hate to tell me, Noobs, Bill O'Reilly,
Goodness.
and a bunch of other people, we kind of like told you so. I'm so sorry for those who love Joe Biden and wanted to believe that this man could walk on water, eat bullets, and shit ice cream.
Yeah.
But no, but no, but no, 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 no. So we're gonna go back in the annals of time. I
And before
believe,
you do that,
yeah.
the thing that I guess is kind of surprising about this whole deal is that it has taken 4 years. 4 years for the thing that we've all known that Joe is a potato.
Oh my God.
4 years to come to the surface. 4 years of people looking at this dude, you know, just drooling on himself. I mean, it's just ridiculous. As fast as the internet is and as fast as communication is now, it should not take 4 years to unravel.
Uh,
There's so many
yeah.
dirty people in Congress that it's just unbelievable. And on
It's laughable at this point.
yeah, and it's not just on one side either.
It's actually really, really sick at this point. It's just
Hey,
like,
so they did pass, while you're pulling that up there, they did pass the no tax on tips thing today. I heard it got a 100-0 Senate vote.
oh wow.
Wow.
Hmm. Was
And
that the
so
big beautiful bill?
no,
That's
no,
part of it, right?
I'm not sure if it's going to be included in that bill or what. I was a little fuzzy on the details because the clip that I saw, I'm not sure how old it is, but it was of Ted Cruz. And so he was the one that announced that it had the 100-0 vote. Now, in my mind, typically it goes from the House to the Senate and then to the president's desk. But it sounded to me like this started in the Senate and then for some reason it's going over to the House. So I'm not sure why that is exactly. I'll have to do a little more investigation into that.
Right. So this video is probably from about, I don't know, 10 months ago. Uh, you know, as you can see, what the title is, it says, "Who is really running the show?" We know it's not Joe. So we knew. Me all the way in Indiana and, you know, noobs from parts unknown. We knew this. How is it that people miss this? So let's go in. Of course, we've been going through some things here this weekend when it comes to, the debate debacle that happened. you know, it's been amazing just to see what actually happened in that debate, and the fallout has been tremendous. Just to see how easily the Democrats can turn on and eat their own is absolutely amazing. And here we are again. They are literally picking this man's bones. Jake Tapper's picked his bones, and now we're going to see. And this is a prediction, news. I think that we're about to start seeing them turn on each other here, really, really soon. Really, really badly. It's going to be horrible because you can't hide anymore. The veil is gone. At this point, it's a lot of people that are outraged more so than the debate. You know how the debate kind of shifted people at that point, just like when he got the assassination attempt on Trump, shifted a lot of people. This is going to be another shift of people that's going to be like, oh God, because we're at the point now where the swamp is drained and we can see everybody's face now. We know exactly who they are. A lot of them by name. It's deep, man. It's deep. Let's go. I ain't never seen nothing like it in my life. They flipped on this man, and all they talked about is this man need to go. But y'all the ones put him there. Y'all the ones that cart this man out here. Y'all push this man in front of these cameras and thinks that he's going to do what you need him to do. Really? You can only hide so much, and people have been seeing it, but they've been ignoring it because you said it was a cheap fake, deep fake, which is all they need, to be a lunatic is a conspiracy theory, which is what you was giving them, and then turn around, they watched live uncut television and was absolutely floored and flabbergasted, like this ain't no cheap fake, this is CNN, and CNN couldn't stop it. Nobody could stop it. It's a different level of stupid, noobs. Because how are you acting shocked now? Oh,
the confirmation bias is real in the world that we live in.
How are you acting shocked now? And you're right. The confirmation bias is real.
Yeah, because I still can't figure out, and I know it might feel like a step to the side, but how does Brian Stelter, who is disgraced to the point that he was fired from CNN, still make appearances? And why do they put him out there like people are just waiting to hear what he's got to say? Because it's all BS.
Every last inch of it is bullshit. Hey, Michael Avenatti said the best about 90% of it. Bullshit. Yeah. It's really, 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 really jacked up. Really, really messed up. What's going on, Mr. Rick Balti? How are you doing?
Hey, I like that font when you put that up there. That's better than the one that we're used to.
Oh, yeah. It's rolling up there nicely, isn't it? Very, very sleek, man. It's sleek indeed.
Let me try this. Oh, hey, look at that. Yeah, that's good looking, man. I kind of like it.
It rolls up nice, man. Rolls up nicely. Absolutely, man.
All right, what else you got for the agenda tonight?
All right, we're gonna keep it rolling. Let's keep this rolling real quick. I don't know if y'all gave him the shot in the booty too early in the day, but man, it didn't work out. It just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. I don't know what to tell y'all. And then you got a total dog on the other side that was trying his best not to bite the shit out of him, but some people say they should have went hard. That was the moment, like for me, I was like, when Trump really, really knew that it was really, really something wrong at that point. I think at a point he knew, but it was all fun and games. But at that point, he realized that it was serious and it wasn't fucking funny no more.
Which point are you talking about?
On the debate,
Oh, the debate night. Yeah. Well, he knew before that.
but
Yeah.
it wasn't funny anymore. Like he was
Right.
like, "What the?"
Well, and it kind of was funny because everybody thought that during the debate when Trump said hey, I don't know what he just said, I don't think he knows what he just said either.
Right,
Everybody thought that Trump was just making a slam. Dude, that was an observation. And like usual, he doesn't have much of a filter, which is something I actually appreciate a lot of times.
right,
And just said what he thought, and again tried to vilify him for it. Can't see past their own noses because of Trump derangement syndrome. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely can't.
It's like, if, there's some people, I mean, you can just run them face first right into a wall, to the point where, just like facial noses and things are broken and they still can't find that wall.
Right. And my thing with this, man, they stuck Joe in the basement for real. He
Yeah.
was he was a
Yeah.
real hostage, bro. Like
Yep.
they stuck him in the basement, filled him with morphine and whatever the fuck. And when it was time for him to wake up, they probably shoved cocaine up his nose.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
good
Because
God,
because we've had the conversation before about, hey, he's getting some kind of cocktail, for this event so that he can stay awake and survive and talk for that event. Of course, nobody knows what was in that cocktail. And now let's throw
you remember
prostate cancer into the mix that, from what I understand, responds very well to, like, hormonal treatments and that sort
that
of
he was
thing.
already getting? That's how they know.
Yeah, and so that was included in that cocktail too. And so, Lord knows, man, that had to be some special, like,
Hey,
juice.
Joe was out here sipping on some scissor.
My goodness.
It
And you remember he did some speech.
was an
This is
infamous cup
after
or something.
after
That he had.
Trump became president. He did some speech, and everybody was talking about the bruise that he had on the back of his left hand. They thought it might have
Yes.
fallen or something like that.
No, that wasn't that.
That was an
That
IV.
was a needle infiltration from an IV.
Yep. Yep.
Somebody stuck him wrong because they've been sticking him in secret.
Yep.
You know, he's
Goodness.
literally that was literally the reason why he
Yep.
was going to the beaches.
Yep.
Literally the reason why he was always gone from the White House.
Yep.
He was going on chemo trips.
And then you got Jean Corinne Pierre up there tap dancing like a mofo. Da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like the frog on the WB, man.
Oh my goodness, man! And she was,
Yep.
she was out there, man. She was
Oh my
literally out there, man.
goodness.
She was
Yep.
chilling hard, and she was around him. She
Mhm.
fucking knew.
Mhm.
I'm like, you motherfuckers knew, you assholes, you know what I
Yep.
mean, and you were sitting here literally. My theory with all of this is that they always wanted that woman president, man. They always wanted this shit.
Oh
And,
yeah.
they tried it with Hillary. They tried to implant her in the situation. When that
Yep.
shit didn't work, they decided, oh, well, we're going to cheat our way through it this time. And we just need somebody. And Trump said something really profound that they wanted Bernie, you know, but when they realized what was going on with Biden, they were like, oh my goodness, this is a gift. He'll do whatever we want.
I think they knew that ahead of time because whether Joe is a potato or not, he's always been like, the dude that carries the piss bucket.
Right. They were literally pitching him as a moderate, yo.
Yeah.
Like I was like, wait a minute, he was a moderate, and
Uh,
then some of
it,
the most liberal shit that we've ever seen has
it,
hit the fan.
right. And then when he's in competition with Kamala for the candidacy, he's a complete racist. But as soon as that candidacy is over and they decided it was Joe Biden, well, he's not a racist anymore.
Right.
Okay. I guess you're only
10,000
racist when
percent.
it's convenient.
Yeah, when you are trying to win an argument,
Right.
basically. Basically, that's it. That is it, and that is freaking all. Now, what I think is going to, what I hope comes of this, man, is some jail, man. I really think these people need to uh, go to jail.
Okay. I'm not going to hold my breath though.
This is like the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened to the country. Seriously, I mean, you can look back, you know, normalcy is normalcy, and you can say that slavery is a horrible thing, but it wasn't scandalous. It was the way that things were at that time, and it sucks for everybody that was in my family or any other family that had to go through that shit. But at the end of the day, they usurp power. They literally, this is like a RICO. I mean, seriously, it's kind of like forced labor. You know, sending the person out against their will, probably at times. Because I'm sure it was times that Joe didn't want to go up there and read that shit. But he didn't mind reading other people's words. That's all he did his whole career.
Right. And
You
he
know, he
often contradicted himself. I mean, there was three different times in his career, where he did some career-ending crap because of some lie that he told. I mean, he even plagiarized college papers.
yeah,
So even way in the way back machine, he was. Oh, dude, he just reminds me of remember the douchebag, the bad guy character on Van Wilder.
yeah,
It just reminds me of that guy.
right. So, the real question is the one that Trump is asking, and it is the one that everybody should be asking: who in the fuck was running that auto pen? Because from what Trump is saying, everything was signed with auto pen. He was
I
like
can
he was like the board when the border
I
auto
can
pen.
think of some probable names.
Yeah, you know, and truth be told, I think that we could start with everybody who got a pardon. We can start there. Everybody who got a pardon on the last day.
Yeah, everybody who got a pardon that just blanket pardoned them for any crime that they committed between this date and that date. Yeah, those are all garbage.
Yep.
That's what I would like to see overturned.
Right now, Shifty Shift had to beg for his
Beg for his what? His
pardon.
pardon?
Yeah. hmm He's definitely one that was
Yeah.
fooling around with that auto pen.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Definitely. People were just going in there, and whoever
Mister,
paid
I'm the
them,
world's, greatest spy ever. I know
whoever,
everything.
yeah, whoever paid him money or had something on these people, they put legislature in for them, and they put in executive orders for them. Because once it's signed, that's an executive order. Am I right?
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do. There really is. I mean, who knows? I mean, what laws did he sign in or supposedly, sign while he was supposedly president?
He didn't even sign that note that he was not going to be president anymore.
Yeah.
That he
You're
wasn't
probably
running
right.
again.
You're probably right.
He didn't even sign that.
And at one point, I remember seeing clips of uh, various examples of things that were obviously signed by the Autopen, but I
Right.
don't remember exactly which items they were.
It's
I
insane.
I mean, aside from the pardons, because the pardons I think were all signed by Autopen.
I think he got to a point where he probably couldn't even sign his name anymore.
I don't think he was even included in the decision-making process. The country is being run by committee.
From what Jake Tapper's book is saying, the cabinet meetings when they did have them were absolutely unbearable and incoherent. He would say things and everybody, well, oh shit, what did he say?
Yeah.
And this was going on. So you can't tell me that people were there weren't rumblings, murmurings, like well, what the fuck, you
Or
know,
there's people that not just rumblings or murmurings, just flat out liars.
right, you know, and you know, people being told to hide it. People probably
Mm-hmm.
have it's people have probably been threatened
Mm-hmm.
to not say a damn thing. This is like I'm telling you, this is the biggest racketeering because they literally affected interstate commerce. They sex trafficked.
Mm-hmm.
They've done all of this. You know, it almost makes me feel like the Diddy scene is just like light work. Shit. Once we get down into the weeds of this, man. Mr. Mountie, what's going on? How you feeling?
I saw the lefties today were again trying to make some association between Diddy and Trump. I guess his name was brought up during the Diddy trial today or something
So
like
was
that.
Obama's.
Yeah. But they don't talk about that part. It's just Trump.
Right. I mean, Diddy and Trump are from New York.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at one time, I mean, they were pretty good friends. But I
Right. I mean,
mean,
but you don't know what everybody does just because you're friends with them.
well, exactly. And you certainly don't know what everybody does because you've got, photos of two celebrities together. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so, that's like all that, you know, all that crap with, Ghislaine Maxwell and everything else. Like, oh, we got all these photos of all these people, with Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, well, how many of them have been arrested? Zero.
Zero. Yeah. I mean, because a picture doesn't really mean anything unless you're
Yeah.
trying to charge somebody
Yep.
with it.
hmm
Yeah. I
Now,
mean,
if you got a ton of pictures between, some celebrity and some otherwise unknown, well, then that might be something to look into. You know what I'm saying? But, people, and you find A-listers and B-listers mixed together and B-listers and C-listers mixed together and on and so forth.
right. Yeah, it's some of this shit's just fucking whack.
Yeah.
It's just like, they want to associate Trump with everything. You get to talking about cognitive dissonance and cognitive.
Yep.
What about Trump's? No, what about yours?
And not just what about Trump, because you can apply that same methodology, to everything that's going on with the Diddy trial as well. And what I mean by that is that, it's not about what you can go into court and run your mouth about. It's really about what you can prove. And so far, I have seen squat.
No Rico.
No, not even testimony about pictures. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, I saw this person and I saw that person. Yada yada
Exactly.
yada. Blah
hmm
blah blue blue blue.
At least
But
Monica still had the dress.
right. I mean, yeah. Hey, I know a setup when I see one of them. You saving dresses. What are you doing?
hmm
Sleeping with the semen stained dress every night?
Well, hey, I mean that's more than they got with with some of these other cases, which is just a bunch of lip service.
Right.
Is that's my point there.
It's
It was more
crazy.
than just Monica running her mouth. First, she ran her mouth, and then when he said, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman," she said, "Oh yeah, I got the dress."
Uh-huh. All right, well, we're gonna run through one more Biden video, maybe about 5 minutes, and then we'll get into Trump going off on the South American president today. It was beautiful, people. It was a thing of beauty. I I am so highly impressed with the president that we have. I mean, it's actually really really cool to know that we got a guy that tells the truth and will call you out, even though the left wing media will say, "Oh my God, false claims. It's a false claim," and I'm like, "The dude got video, man. What are you talking about?" It is absolutely amazing.
And
You
so,
know,
as you watch this, I mean, post down in the comment section if you think that this was an ambush or if this was like hell yeah, this is why I voted for this guy.
Absolutely. But like I said, we're going to go through one more Biden one, and then we're going to jump into the beauty of what Trump can do to people when he has the truth on his side. It's actually amazing, man. It's the coolest thing ever. If I can get it to pop up here, give me a second. All right, let's see if we got it. There it is. And there we go. That's right.
With former presidential candidate, Minnesota Congressman Dean Phillips, Nina Turner, national co-chair of Bernie Sanders' 2020 campaign, former Ohio State Senator. Welcome to you both. Dean Phillips, want to start with you. You were the man who challenged Joe Biden. You rang the alarm bells. You were ostracized from your own party. No media organizations, I think, other than this one, would book you because they were in on it, especially MSNBC. You and I were in New Hampshire talking about this not too long ago. Why? I get why Republicans are angry, why independents, why the media cares now. Why aren't elected Democrats, members of Congress, more angry and demanding accountability?
Because they was in on it. am I wrong?
Nope, they all knew.
They were in on the scam. That's why they're hushing their mouth. They talk loud about airplanes and shit. But this is like, oh God, it's crumbling down. Oh my goodness. I would love to hear Miss Dumbass Crockett's take, but we'll wait on
that. Why? Because Leland, they want to move past this and have it forgotten about and pretend it didn't happen because it's not advantageous to litigate something for which they're culpable. And I want to celebrate Senator Turner, who's on tonight. A pleasant surprise. She and I met. We're absolutely on the same page on this issue. And another great American who saw what was going on, understood the consequences, and just like me, was deplatformed, dismissed, and now look what happened. And
that's kind of familiar, because they deplatformed everybody that was trying to tell the truth at that time. Anybody who was trying to tell the truth, they block you, and they do everything they could to suppress you.
You can only say what we want you to say. YouTube is famous for that.
Absolutely. We know who you are. We know what you do. You all are shills for the party, even those that are in the party.
Same people.
But it's not a party anymore. The Democrats are not having any type of parties anymore. Any parties.
People that were the arsonists then are running to the fire with hoses right now. And I'm sure, I don't want to speak for the senator, but I got to tell you, it is awfully difficult to watch. So I'm incredulous, but I also am inspired because I think this might be an opportunity for the Democratic Party to not just issue some reforms, but to really have a moment of reckoning. Because the disservice to the party that the people you just mentioned did, the disservice to the country, and the erosion of trust that resulted from their cover-up is reprehensible, and we have an obligation to do better. Both parties, by the way, are guilty of very similar.
Sure, but this is right now we talk.
They could never be trusted anymore if if had anything to do with it. I mean, they would never be trusted. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I just don't think that this is going to move the needle for many folks at all, because we live in a time that they're so entrenched, and somehow this is all Trump's fault.
Yeah, I mean, somehow, some freaking how, Trump did it, man. I mean, but no, they did it to themselves, man. They've literally hurt themselves. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. Like, you hurt yourself and you continue. It's like you keep on sticking your hand on that hot stove, and it's just not working for these guys. It's just like they don't get it.
Yeah, it's the double down on stupid that we were talking about the last time we got together.
Oh my God! No, it's like a quadruple down, man. Yeah. Oh my goodness! Wow.
About what's in front of us. So Nina.
Indeed. So that, but the why. Let me just repeat the why. The why is They want to slip this under the rug. They want to pretend that they did what they could. No, they didn't.
Okay.
And I hope every single one of them pays that price.
Burns in hell
Nina,
forever.
do you see anyone in your party realizing that in order to move forward, you've got to honestly deal with the past?
Well, certainly the congressman and myself, we do. But some of those folks, as the congressman said, they want this to go away. They were all complicit. Yep. Even the media was complicit in not wanting to ask the hard questions because they always wanted to have access and be able to get the interview. There are many people involved in this, Leland.
It wasn't just that. They wanted to get the interview. They were complicit because they were paid to be.
Yep. Well, and that's kind of what they're talking about, because if you don't get the interview, you're not going to get the paycheck. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And they were, well, you know what? You're right. They were paid to be, and they were literally brainwashed to be.
Yeah, because they don't want to get disinvited.
Right.
That means they've got no show. They can only talk about what other people interviewed them about. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely makes sense to me.
Yeah, a lot of it. I think a lot of it does have to do with not just, party preference, but I mean, yeah, it's like we've got to produce, something, and the access to the president and to the president's people is that way, to keep things moving.
Right.
Who put their careers in front of doing what is right for the American people, including President Biden himself, who said that he was going to be a transformational president. Let us not forget or transition, in that he was going to transition. He wasn't going to run a second time. And I applaud Congressman Dean Phillips because he was the only actively elected person who decided to challenge the system. As we all know, there were others like Dr. Cornel West, like Marianne Williamson, and even RFK Jr., who was pushed over to the Trump side because of the arrogance of the Democrats.
So I remember being in New Hampshire with Dean Phillips, and people made fun of him back then. This was a donut event in New Hampshire.
Nobody cares about that. All right, so we're going to move on real quick. It's amazing because even this douche rocket that's hosting this show on News Nation has been such a ridiculous reporter. I don't understand, like him or the Cuomos. They can open up their mouth and say some of the stupidest crap I've ever heard in my life, but then have glimpses of common sense. I don't understand it. I'm like, either you're stupid or you're stupid. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's freaking crazy. It's one of those things where, it don't keep me up at night, but oh my God. It's just like the level of stupid is insane. And I would hope, Noobs, that a lot of people are waking up. I mean, I'm hoping that a lot of this crap that's happening is a great awakening. I know that you are more on the anti side of things when it comes to that, because you really do think that a lot of people are inherently stupid.
Not just that, man. They're entrenched.
Yeah.
And so and this goes back to what I was saying before, even the people who, come around to the realization that they've been duped. Well, now it's a matter of having to swallow that pride and admit that they were duped. How many people in today's society are going to do that?
Not too many.
Exactly. I mean, there are some. You see the videos and that sort of thing. People is like, man, I used to be a lifelong Democrat, but this is what turned me. You do see those videos.
Yeah, I'm actually one of those people. Like, I can point to the moment that I turned, and I'm like, I can't deal with this. This is not even what they claimed that they were. And then after doing further research, there's never any going back. Like,
now, I do think that if the Democrats are going to win again, it's either going to have to be through, they're going to have to increase their efforts to cheat, or they're going to have to reform.
They're definitely going to have to reform. They gotta fix this.
Yep. Because I mean, and I think the right needs to reform as well. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Because especially like these
because
freaking
there is.
dinosaurs like McConnell, they need to go.
I think that they need to kind of reform into a bit of MAGAism.
Well, and that's the direction that we want to head for. But in the way that you and I know it, not in the way that a lefty thinks they
Yeah,
know it. You know what
right,
I'm saying? And so, yeah.
right. Because you do have people that are just, I don't know what when they say, oh, you MAGA this and MAGA that, it kind of blows my mind
Yeah, because
because
they have no idea what they're talking about. I still see them throwing around that what was it, that Project 2050 or whatever the
you
hell
get
it was.
2025 or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, whatever, and it is just such rubbish. It's just, how can we be this far into this and you're still going down this line? Pull your heads out.
right. They gotta stop. I mean,
Yep.
because
Uh,
you've lost and you've lost miserably.
yep.
You can't handle it. It's been 100 some odd days, and you all are losing your minds because you
Yeah.
can't handle the fact
And
that
they
you
only lose their minds about a very small part of what's going on, and the rest of it they just don't talk about at all.
right. Things that people don't. I don't give a shit about a plane.
Yeah, I really don't either.
I mean, I don't give a shit.
I
I
mean, I'd
mean,
like to ride on it, but that's as far as
yeah.
my
I mean, I can give two shits about this
yeah.
plane. I'm like, why are you talking about a fucking plane?
Yeah, yep.
Like they're not gonna he's gonna be flying in the fucking thing tomorrow.
Yep.
And they're not going to go through this thing with a fine tooth comb and make sure that there's nothing in there. They're going to do that shit before it even leaves the Middle East.
Yeah. Well, it'll go into an inspection dock whenever it gets here.
Absolutely. I'm like, what in the hell are you guys even talking about? Like, he's
Yep.
going to jump on it tomorrow and start flying around the country.
Yep.
You accepted a gift. No.
Now, I think they had one flight scheduled, but he and that prince that he was with, they both flew on it together.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
I
a
mean,
non-issue.
shit, little test drive. We want to see how this joker ride.
Yeah, and that whole thing will work itself out. However, it works itself out.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Yes, it will. So, of course, today, in beautiful Trump fashion, Donald Trump put the screws to the president of South Africa. He sat there, the guy sat there, and he just literally just tried to BS the man. Like, what are you doing? And I love the preparedness of Trump here. It's almost like, hey, take a look at this. The same thing that the media would try to do to him and bring video footage to try to, aha, gotcha moment. But this was a gotcha moment. This was real. Gotcha. Look at all these people that are lined up to see their people. Well, I don't know where that is. You know exactly where the hell that is. You're lying. So Trump gave it to him, and we're going to enjoy what happened here. I mean, we're just gonna love it.
For you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the president. But for him, no, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that.
Our president will respond to you. Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But Mr. President, I must say that we have wait.
No, wait. Here comes the bulldozer.
Stories talking about it, and we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that is Natalie here. Somebody here to turn that. I could show you a couple of things. And
oh my God! Oh, where Natalie at? Oh, where's Natalie?
Who's got the remote?
Roll that beautiful bean footage. Good Lord. And it's like, oh goodness. So I don't know. I'm about to turn body language expert here. Oh shit.
It has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just.
I don't want you to have no obstruction. I don't need you to say nothing was in your ass and it was glare. Dim the lights, please. This guy. Wow. It doesn't get any better to me than the president that does this. I wonder how many ratings these news stations that are getting for running these.
Well, considering that, I mean, this is what everybody is talking about today, you know.
My God, beautiful. It was beautiful to me. I loved it. I just loved it. So let's go.
Just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yeah. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. So whatever you want to do, we can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament. Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. That's freaking deep. It must be killing because and some of these people snuck over the border. Oh gosh. Wow. Kill the farmer, huh? We all know what that is. That's the mimicking the gunshots and being shot in the air. Crazy. The man of DAPE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Pajama and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness in Ghana. Wow. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer. I'm talking about this man is doing arenas.
Yeah.
Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer. You know what? That's absolutely dangerous, man. Did you get that many people following you talk about? Think about the Democratic Party. You know.
Well, I think we're past dangerous because I mean, this has been going on for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's absolutely insane. And they actually have a law that says you can just take somebody's land. Like
Several laws. I heard something today that says they have like 250 laws that are, specifically against or what they can do or can't do, against white landowners in South Africa.
whoa. We're gonna get into we're gonna definitely get into it, but I want my man Trump to let this man have it.
Statue was not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't ever see the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocide over
Shoot the boar, huh? White man. Yeah, that's kind of sick, isn't it?
Who will expropriate land without compensation.
Well, I don't know what he's saying, but it's probably not let's all get along.
It said kill the white man and watch them run. We're going to shoot them with a machine gun. That's what
well, that sounds inviting.
Yeah, come on over.
I think I might skip his barbecue.
Because you might be on the grill. Sheesh. Jesus Christ, man, that's crazy.
They like it or not, if they object, they can seek a refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers.
Excellent narration, Mr. Trump.
Family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving. They're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
It's a shame. As far as the eye can see,
these people are all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen.
Wait a minute, you ain't never seen that? That's in your... Yo, he finna get him.
Yeah, how can this guy not know about it?
Right. It's in South Africa.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely.
You see, you can tell Trump's frustrated at this point.
Yeah, he's like, bull shit.
He's like, what the hell are you talking about? Oh my God.
Completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No,
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilized.
The farmers are not black.
I
don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black.
Man, look, and they'll somehow spin this
Oh, they already have. And so, and this is the deal. Trump's big lie in all of this is that all of those crosses are white farmers. Well, that's the big lie because there are white farmers and black farmers represented by those crosses.
Okay.
However, the caveat there is that 85% of those crosses are white farmers, and white people are only 11% of the population.
Wow.
South Africa. So that's Trump's big lie from this meeting.
That's not a big lie. Wow. So mostly.
Right. I mean, if you do the math, you know what I mean? You're 11% of the population, but 85% of this graveyard.
Right. And don't think that, how white people were killed for trying to help slaves here in America.
Well, yeah,
I'm sure it was some black people that were trying to help those farmers. They were their actual friends.
And those those black farmers that are laying in those fields, they're, I'm sure, either caught in a crossfire or considered to be, part of the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely 100% correct. They probably like their white farmer friends.
Mm-hmm.
And that would kind of break it down to genocide. If that you're literally taking out a whole.
And I mean, look back at history. Uh, when the commies did the same thing, and then they had that great, geez, I can't even remember the name of it now, but they actually gave it a name and a title and everything for this huge starvation event where they went through this country and killed all the farmers.
Right.
Like, oh well, that's what a great idea.
Insane. It is absolutely insane. And we can sit here all day and I know how some black people in America are. They cool with all of the shit, especially when it's against white people. But we have to realize that every single life matters. It's not just a black life that matters. We know that we matter. Everybody matters. And if you're killing people indiscriminately for no reason, that's enough to give asylum to me. And Trump didn't do the wrong thing. The wrong thing is opening up your borders and letting every scallywag and piece of trash in. That was the problem.
Well, and that's not even the problem. The problem is that they came in illegally.
Absolutely. I mean, 100%.
You know
that goes without saying.
Yeah, I get tired of hearing people crying the blues. They got deported today. It was like, dude, you had 20 years to do something about this. They've been in the country illegally 20 years, and they never lifted a finger, never showed up to a court date, nothing. And now they're crying the blues. My goodness. Nobody is responsible for the decisions that they make anymore.
No, not too much, man. Not too much at all. I mean, I wish I could be irresponsible for the decisions that I make in life and, just live footloose and fancy free.
Yeah, just do whatever. Somebody else will pick up the slack. It's all good.
Yeah, let somebody else bail me out,
Yep. Let somebody else pay your medical insurance, pay your grocery bill, pay your rent, turn your lights on. It's all good.
10,000%. So, I don't think that this is going to move any needles, but I thought it was really, really cool that our president is always in action. He's always working, always punching the clock. You claim cognitive impairment and compare him to a guy that was stuck in a basement.
Now, the possibility to move the needle does still exist, because to me, I don't think that this is intended to be, just an ambush, for the leader of another country. This is the precursor to say, hey, because he even said, hey, we're going to talk trade deals later and that sort of thing. Well, now they know where he's coming from. And if they want, some kind of subsidy or business deal or whatever, from the U.S., then they're going to have to change the way that they're doing business. And that's what's coming.
Sanctions.
Maybe not sanctions, but just, not giving them millions/billions of dollars a year, just to keep carrying on doing the same thing.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. So on that note, man, I think we need to get out of here. It's been about an hour.
Let's do it, brother.
We've covered some things.
Yeah.
I do appreciate everybody for coming in and hanging out with us this evening. And of course, if it's your first time or you're watching it on the replay, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell and give me a holler. Let me know that it is real. And we are up out of here. What up, man?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, what kind of capabilities you got over there? I know you've been sandboxing.
Not too much, because I have no control over your avatar or microphone or anything at all. And since we didn't have a third party come in, I have no idea if I have control over their stuff. For mine, I just have basic settings. I can edit name, edit title, change avatar, and mirror. I can bring myself in and out of the stream, and it looks like I can mute the microphones and videos of probably anybody on the panel, but I have to verify.
Okay.
And then, of course, I can take any of the comments and show and make those disappear.
You say you like that, huh?
Yeah, that's actually easier to do than it was in StreamYard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are some cool, like the
little windows. Yeah, they're not too obtrusive. I like them.
Yeah, like I said, it's a good It's a good application, I think personally. Yeah. There's some tweaks that's going to need to be made, but I'm satisfied so far. It's not It's not like I ran into it. Oh, I can't figure it out. What the fuck? So and like I said, we're gonna roll with this one for a while. People just gonna have to adapt and adjust. And like I said, I'll get you your full capabilities. I'll up the ante on the subscription here.
Yeah, and I gotta look for another. I'm gonna look for a new camera filter too.
Yeah, because I know you want to come back at least for the first few minutes of everything, and we'll get all of that stuff going pretty good. I see that your avatar is active, like when you're talking now.
Yeah, which is really good, and that's a lot more responsive than the one on StreamYard.
Yeah, it's actually perfect. I think it goes with every inflection of your voice and every word.
Yeah, the one on StreamYard always was out of sync.
Yeah, it looked weird. It looked weird. So, like I said, it's a cleaner. Like I said, I'm trying to keep just test the content. Just test it a little bit.